Hi, welcome to my fantastic channel, also known as Mikey's Video Game Madness, and today we're playing Bioshock Infinite Burial at Sea, Episode 2 on the PlayStation 3. I happened to pick up the complete edition of Bioshock. I already owned all these on DLC, but OCD kicked in and I wanted the physical copies of a physical copy of the DLC. There's also a version of this available on the Xbox 360 if you don't have a PS3. I'm not sure about PC. There's some screen tearing on this particular episode, which I don't remember. That could be part of maybe the pass through or the recording. I don't know. But you can actually unlock the frame, at least in the PlayStation 3 version, and actually have it run higher than 30 frames per second. But this starts out unique. I'm not going to show you a lot of the game because I don't want spoilers. There'll be spoilers if you pretty much already knew what was going to happen. You'll be like, oh, that could have been a spoiler. But if you're going into this video and just watching it, you're not going to know what the fuck they're referencing. So don't turn it off because you're scared of spoilers, because it's not going to spoil anything. But this is, to me, the last, well, it will always be to me the last true game of the series. Just like, to me, Bioshock 2 wasn't the true sequel. Like, to me, Bioshock Infinite is like the true Bioshock 2, because somebody else made it and somebody else is going to continue to make it. 2K Marin, I believe, made Bioshock 2. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I'm sure you guys love to do that, like you like to bitch about my audio, but whatever, it's cool. But yeah, so I'm just admiring the artwork. I really like the bright levels of the Bioshock Infinite universe. Unfortunately, most of the DLC actually takes place in the older Bioshock universe underwater, which yeah, a lot of people missed, and it was really cool for the first two games, but to be honest with you, I kind of got sick of it, and I thought the Infinite Universe is a nice change. I can't imagine where the other games are going to take place. I almost think that it would be cool if you played as the two twins. I can't think of what their names are. They actually have a name, but you know what I'm talking about, where they're like heads or tails. I'll say twins, but for all of you who play the game, you know what they really are. I won't spoil it, but you know. So don't put it in the comments just in case somebody hasn't played the game trying to correct me, but I know what they are. A little Disney moment. Yeah, people have complained about the textures. Obviously the PC has better textures than the PlayStation 3, but the intention of the graphics were to never make it look super realistic. This game is really supposed to be made to look like a oil painting or oil pastel piece of artwork. It's supposed to look like an artwork, so the textures aren't supposed to be super detailed and high res. I mean, there are better textures in the PC version, but even at the highest settings, the PC version kind of retains that slightly blurry effect, and that's intentional because it's supposed to kind of look like a piece of artwork around the time, especially like from French Impressionists and stuff like that, which fits perfect with this France theme. And I like the mystical feeling of this. Pretty much this game answers every remaining question you had of the Bioshock universe, and it basically makes the game come full circle. I like this transition here. It's a beautiful looking game on the PlayStation 3. I know for all you PC people, and being used to playing PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, I guess we're starting to get a little bit jaded and stuff like this doesn't impress us more, but just the style and the art style and the story, I love this series, and I'll call it a series: Bioshock, Bioshock Infinite, Bioshock Burial at Sea Episode 1 and 2, and Bioshock 2 is not a bad game, which I'll eventually cover. I love the mood lighting of this, the atmosphere, the horror atmosphere, and all this stuff. But yeah, those Bioshocks, and I'm not including 2, but that's in the expansion pack, are probably one of my favorite new series of the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 generation, hands down. Bioshock 2 is good, but it just feels so similar to the first game, and I think this actually improves the game. People have said that this controls clunky. Bioshock Infinite in itself is clunky. Yeah, it's not Call of Duty. It's not meant to be. But yeah, I love the bizarre story. I like the film noir look of the expansion packs, especially this the first one, episode 1. This episode 2 is more of a stealth game. This is the only Bioshock Infinite game that you actually can play as Elizabeth, because you played as Booker in the first expansion pack. But really, the expansion pack was really made just to show you what Rapture basically looked like before it basically went downhill when you play the first Bioshock. And I've tried to explain this to my friend. I'm not going to explain it to you guys in great detail because I don't want to spoil anything, although I have a feeling I'm going to get a message. I'll thumbs up your video, but I don't want to watch it because of spoilers, which is always kind of disappointing. I understand the fear of spoilers, but I'm not going to spoil anything for you. I know sometimes I've gotten shit about spoiling things from movies in the 70s or 80s, but I kind of feel like those plot points by that time are basically not sacred anymore and basically public domain that should be discussed and analyzed. I kind of feel like unless you're like a little kid or something, if you didn't see the movie, you kind of missed the ball on it, and it should be discussed. Maybe the plot point will make you more interested in it. Like if I talked about the ending of Blade Runner and you're over the age of 18 or whatever, I feel like you should have already seen that. It's kind of a requisite, a coming of age thing. But yeah, but I told people like they could play Bioshock Infinite and its expansion packs and then play Bioshock 1 as a sequel. Or they could do the complete opposite and play a Bioshock 1 and then play Infinite and the expansion packs. And either way, like the storyline is like a circle, so it really doesn't matter which one you play. Like each game like lends itself to the other games in the series. Bioshock 2 is kind of distant because even though you're in Rapture, there's not really any point like any of the characters in the other games ever interact or you ever run into them, so it's completely unrelated. I'm curious where the next Bioshock games are coming for sure. This was a great improvement over Bioshock 1 on the PlayStation 3, which if you have a choice, definitely get Bioshock 1 either on the PC or the Xbox 360. I personally like console, so I'd say the Xbox 360, but the original developers, Irrational, weren't happy with the Bioshock 1 port. They did a better job on Bioshock 2 with the port, but Bioshock 1 was kind of blurry a little bit compared to the Xbox 360 version. This one kind of has a pastel look, so some of the blurriness of the textures is intentional. It's not a limitation. I mean, the PC, like I said, does definitely have sharper textures, but they purposely blur stuff out. And you'll notice there's like a kind of I I forgot what the technical term is because I'm talking and playing the game and being like really ADD right now, but like the level of detail kind of blurs out due to your line of sight and stuff like that. That's intentional. That's actually a post-processing effect that actually would take more resources to actually pull off. I'm going to say this particular expansion port has a little bit, it's more screen tearing than I remember in the main game, but you get used to it after a while. This game is more stealth based. When I say this game for now, and let me be clear, I'm talking about Burial at Sea Episode 2. It's more stealth based. It kind of reminds me of a non-scary version of Alien Isolation, the way it plays and the way you crouch and stuff with things. And I guess it's not as scary because things aren't as, I guess, invincible. You actually can defend yourself, but you can die pretty quickly if you're not careful. But I would highly recommend, if you haven't picked up Bioshock Infinite, get the complete edition. That way you don't have to worry about you forever losing the essential ending of the Bioshock, at least Irrational's Bioshock storyline, forever due to like a hard drive failure, or when the PlayStation 4 gets popular enough or the Xbox One gets popular enough, they'll quit supporting the server and you can't download it anymore if you replace the hard drive. All that shit, it's all avoidable if you get it on disc. I try to support the games as much as I can, like when I know that there's a physical copy. I actually recently got the Fallout and Dragon Age games. I don't think there's a Dragon Age 2 game that has all the DLC, and I'm sure Dragon Age Inquisition, once they release all the DLC, they'll come out with yet again another version, which I should just wait on these damn games until they come out with these versions with the DLC, because I end up with the original version. For the PS3, the original version of Bioshock Infinite is worth having because it actually has Bioshock 1 like on the disc as well. So I'm keeping my original version of Bioshock Infinite just because it's like having a copy of Bioshock 1. But the complete edition on PlayStation 3, they took out Bioshock 1 and put in all the DLC because it's like 5 gigs worth of DLC, which is about the size of a DVD. Like the Xbox 360 version on Bioshock Infinite, actually there's Steve Benway. If you haven't checked out his channel, I have no idea why you're here, but continue to watch my channel. Feel free to subscribe. If you haven't heard of his channel, I'm shocked because his channel's super popular. Mine isn't. A great guy. He actually shouted me out. He's one of the first people to actually, what I consider, start the gaming community. One of the first people. So if I'm not giving anybody credit where credit's due, I apologize. The one I came across was actually part of the gaming community. As much as I like Classic Game Room and Mark's commentary and all that stuff, and some of the other popular channels, like Steve Benway was one of the first larger channels that actually reply back and talk to the people that left comments on his page. And I know it gets harder when you have a shitload of people, but he used to have live streams and stuff like that, and sometimes it just made my day because at the time I was working this shitty ass job that I hated, and I'd come home, and it's shortly when I first discovered his channel, and he would just have a barrage of all these games on older systems, and I liked his guerrilla style filmmaking, which I have tried with the camera and just couldn't get it right, unfortunately, because I don't know, he's just really good at finding the camera settings to get it right, and I like that he has such a large collection. He's able to show games that I've never even seen before and systems I've never seen before, so it was a nice treat. And then on Saturday he would have live stream, which he does on and off again sometimes. Always tend to miss him because since he's in the UK, like the hours are different or whatever. I was up at all weird hours when I was working that job because I worked non-stop. It was a miracle when I finally ever got home. But it's just so cool. It was almost like, I know he would kind of get annoyed if we'd like treated like a celebrity, but it kind of was, because I didn't watch TV. YouTube was like my television, and it's kind of cool to see my own channels on the TV. It's like, wow, I'm on the TV, even though it's a computer. It looks like a television screen, right? But yeah, it was like seeing a celebrity or your favorite TV show all the time, being able to talk to the people, and I was just like, wow, that's awesome. And then, like, when I finally started my channel a few years after that, and he gave me a shout out, that was so cool. I met so many cool people. And if it wasn't for Steve Benway and showing the community aspect and all that stuff, I can't honestly tell you if I'd be doing this, to be honest with you. How many times can I fit some variation of honest or honestly into a sentence? A lot, apparently, because I just managed, even though it was like 2 times. But yeah, the rest of this game is kind of stealth based until you get towards the end, and then it switches up. It kind of starts out slow, but I think between the two expansion packs, even though there's 3, there's another one. It's like horde mode. It's more like an arcadey thing. These are story driven single player expansion packs, and then it has like all the weapon upgrade expansion packs or whatever. I don't know exactly what they involve. I downloaded them. I haven't made a video in a while, so I wanted to make sure I did made something, even though it's Bioshock again, which you'll probably see Bioshock again more, because it's, again, like I said, one of my favorite games of this generation. So it's whatever. Hopefully you'll still like my channel. I like that little sketch pad, Leonardo da Vinci looking drawing of a lockpick there. They're coming out with like some multiplayer drawing game on PlayStation 4. The idea is cool, but that's what the graphics reminded me of. Although I think they could do a better job, even though I'm not a developer. Like for the PlayStation 4, I don't know why it's exclusive to the PlayStation 4, because I think it could be put on PlayStation 3. I hope Sony isn't quick to forget the PlayStation 3. I hope Microsoft isn't quick to forget the 360, but Microsoft is pretty infamous for dropping their older stuff at the drop of the hat. I think Windows XP was like the longest thing they've ever supported in their entire lives, and they eventually dropped that too, but I guess that's reasonable since it was out for over a decade. Always like this educational video. If you didn't notice, there's me fooling around to see what kind of lighting effects they had. If it had dynamic lighting, I tried to go in front of the projector to try to see if it was going to put a shadow on the projection screen, but unfortunately it didn't. But it looks cool still, though. And it looks pretty sharp. It looks like they're using some form of anti-aliasing, which is actually quite rare for the Unreal 3 engine on consoles, but this is a highly modified version. I think they use like dynamic lighting and stuff in certain on certain areas of the levels. And as you can see, sometimes the textures are sharp in this game. Like I said, I think it was less of a technical limitation and more of a on purpose, intentional style that they wanted. But I mean, you can call up, what is it, Ken Levine, who created these games, and now he's doing indie games, which I'm curious what he's gonna do with those, because his vision of games seems so grand. I would hate to see like some grand vision stifled in some cell phone game or something. That would kind of suck. But yeah, you get a crossbow. A lot of stealth games have crossbows. I guess it makes sense because, you know, they're quiet. Or at least I assume they are. I've never actually shot a crossbow in real life before. So, yeah, I fucked up. I just wanted to show you what the crossbow looked like before I end the video, because this video is getting quite long. So, this is Bioshock Infinite Burial at Sea Episode 2 on the Complete Edition. Feel free to subscribe, leave a comment, like, whatever you feel that's necessary. I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. One of my favorite personal games. I would recommend and check it out. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You're a grown-up. At least I hope you are. Your parents aren't letting you watch a mature game, but thank you guys so much. I appreciate all the support you guys give me, whatever way you do it. And I will talk to you guys on the next video. Take care. Bye.